Good day and welcome to this session of the Veterinary Summit. And this time I hope to give you some insights into digital marketing for the veterinary practice. And in particular, I want to focus on social media. You may have an established digital presence already, or you may just be getting started. And either way, I want to give you some practical tips on how to get your digital pages working for you. And I hope to inspire you in this time to get started on your own digital marketing success story. So, king of your community, and who wouldn't want to be, right? The respected go-to vet in the area, great client relationships, and a loyal customer base. It's the dream. Of course, we know social superstars like Dr. Andy Rourke and even Dr. Pimple Popper, and I'm sure most vets feel like they can probably compete with Dr. Pimple Popper. But we can't all be them, and we probably wouldn't want to be anyway. But your practice can easily become the leader in your local community. There is so much hype about digital marketing. You may be wondering if online marketing is even relevant to your practice at all. The easiest way for me to answer this is for us to take a look at the digital landscape in South Africa. So We Are Social and Hootsuite are two social management platforms that have recently published their 2019 Global Digital Yearbook. And in this report, we can see stats for South Africa. And from this, we can see that South Africa has over 54% internet penetration. If we also consider things like socioeconomics, then the average veterinary client with access to the internet likely far exceeds that number. It is also clear that South Africans spend a lot of time on the internet. In fact, we spend the sixth longest time online globally, with a whopping 8 hours and 32 minutes on the internet per day. And finally, of those connected to the internet, most access it daily or at least weekly. As for the social media usage in South Africa, we perhaps aren't as connected as the rest of the world. We have below the global average for social media penetration rate. But that said, we are climbing the social ladder very, very quickly. South Africa is one of the fastest growing countries in terms of social media usage, with a 20% year-on-year increase in the last few years. So what this means is that we're on an upward trend, and it is in fact the best time to establish a strong social media presence. So that's all great, but what about local business? Yeah, we have a snippet from an infographic about digital marketing. It is a really interesting infographic, and I'd actually recommend you go and have a look at it on visualcapitalist.com to take a look at the full infographic. What I want to highlight here, though, is that globally, Google reports a whopping third of all mobile searches are in fact location-based queries. So these are the type of queries where people are looking for products near places that sell certain products near them, or service providers near them. So it's your typical store near me or vet near me type queries. And if you consider in South Africa that nearly 3/4 of all our internet traffic is mobile traffic, then that means 1/4 of all web traffic in South Africa is in fact location-based. That is huge. Another thing that is really important to realize is that online searches are actually converting into paying customers. Nearly 3/4 of consumers who do local searches are visiting a store within their 10-kilometer radius. And more than 1/4 of searches for something nearby actually result in a purchase. So digital marketing is not only for big brands and national companies. More so than ever, digital marketing has become indispensable for local business. And if you're thinking that your clientele aren't really tech savvy, you may be surprised, and I would challenge you to test that theory. And you also need to remember, if you cannot be found digitally, then you are missing out on clients who do choose to find their service providers that way. Now, you may have done some online marketing already, and you may have gotten uh, quite disheartened by the uninspiring results. And you may be wondering if digital marketing is really all that big and there are so many customers ending up through local business doors, then why haven't you seen the benefits? And this is probably the case for most vets who dabble with digital marketing. You may have invested in a website, you've posted the occasional blog, and you have even fiddled around with social media. And after a couple of months, you have not seen one new patient through your doors as a result of your efforts. So if this is the case, then maybe you are guilty of some or even all of the most commonly made veterinary marketing mistakes. And I'm going to take a look at these mistakes and actually look at them much like you would look at your patients when you're seeing your patients and diagnosing them. So the first big mistakes that vets typically make is that they're not thinking about their marketing efforts holistically. And this is mainly because they don't understand how the online tools function together. So as I said, we can think about digital marketing much like we think about our patients. So just as you would consider how organ systems work together when diagnosing your patients, online tools function together to produce results, and you would need to have at least a basic understanding of this to start using them effectively. And the way these online tools work together will also form part of your marketing strategy, which brings me to the next big marketing mistake, which is not having a treatment plan in the case of vets, or in this case, a marketing strategy. You wouldn't treat a patient with, say, 1 day of antibiotics here and a day of analgesics there, and maybe the next day, whatever else you can grab out your pharmacy. And yet, most veterinary marketing efforts are this way. A plan doesn't need to be complicated, but it is essential to have some form of direction. You can have beautiful pages, but without a coordinated marketing effort, the time and money you devote are going to be fruitless. And finally, we vets recommend routine prevention like vaccinations and checkups. For your online presence, it is the same. You need to have frequent digital checkups. And I'm thinking of Prof. Penzon here for those of you who may have heard him say this. Not regular checkups, you can have regular 10-year checkups. You need to have frequent checkups. This will be to post new content and to make sure your online pages look great and that they're working well. I remember being told that when you do a spay, you need to put in the neatest stitches you possibly can. And that the reason for this is because when your client sees the stitches, that is all they see. And they will judge your surgical work on how those stitches look. And like it or not, when a client is viewing your digital pages, they are actually subconsciously judging your clinical skills by how those pages look and what they see. So a website that is out of date, either aesthetically or with regards to user trends, will reflect poorly on you. And social pages that are neglected or have poor images will put people off. Of course, the worst of all is if they can't find your clinic online at all. We are rapidly approaching a time where if your business is not online, then it simply doesn't exist. Your potential clients are going online to find out more about you, and they're looking at your digital pages and they're asking themselves, is this the right vet for me? Okay, so far we have seen that South Africans are on the internet and on social media, and that the trend is fast growing. We have also seen that people are searching on their mobile devices to find local businesses. So as local business owners, vets cannot ignore this trend or treat it idly if we want to stay relevant and be competitive. Of course, the trick is, what does this practically mean for vets? I've mentioned that you need a holistic marketing strategy, but what does that mean? What platforms or channels do you use? What tools do you use? What content do you post? Where do you post it? And how often? So let's start with online platforms and tools and how they work together. This will also help you to develop your marketing strategy. As a minimum, these are the online channels that you should be using. You should at very least have a website, have an updated Google My Business page, be active on at least one social media platform, and have an email newsletter. And your newsletter, social media, and Google Business should all link back to your website. Your website, this is imperative, should always be front and central to all your efforts. And that is another reason why it is so important to have a great and updated website. Now, why am I telling you to do it like this? The one thing to understand about digital marketing is that much like all marketing, it is all about being found. And as the digital space is growing and also the competition for digital space is growing, it is becoming more and more important to have a good reputation with Google. And your website is the main place where client leads are going to turn into action in the form of phone calls or seeking directions to your practice. So the more traffic to your website, the more your clinic's reputation is going to grow with Google in relevance. And it's also worthwhile noting that Google tends to look favorably on businesses that use Google products frequently. I also want to very briefly quickly say something about the humble email newsletter. Social media has not replaced email. Top global marketers describe email marketing as a cornerstone and one of the biggest assets for marketing. Of all the marketing channels, email still outperforms most of them. An email newsletter is more personalized and you get more attention, and it is a direct route to the people who are most likely to use your services. And besides all of this, the most important thing to realize about an email newsletter list is that it is yours. For Google and third-party apps like Facebook, you have to pay to get noticed, and ultimately you are at the mercy of their decisions. Digital platforms may come and go, but an email contact list is yours. It's like having Kruger Rand stashed under your pillow. It will always be yours, and you can use it when and how you choose. Okay. So I have been going on quite a bit about Google, and in this slide, I just want to answer the question whether Google is really that important. So you can see here, these are statistics from StatCounter, which monitors global internet usage. So you can see for South Africa, the combination of google.com and google.co.za account for 95% search engine market share. So another thing to note is that the top 5 search results on Google get 70% of the clicks. The saying goes that the best place to commit a crime is on the second page of Google, and this is really true. If you're not on the first page and you're not in those top 5 search results, you are not going to get noticed. So yes, Google is very definitely important. All right, so let's get to some practical ways to get your online marketing going. I'm going to elaborate further on the holistic marketing strategy I started earlier. I mentioned how your social media and your email newsletter and your My Business presence should all lead back to your website. It is also good practice that all these channels are cohesive. So a simple and quite easy and very effective strategy is to start with one topic per month. So say you could choose dental awareness one month, and the next month you could choose skin health, and so forth. You'd want to try to make those topics follow on each other or relevant perhaps maybe to the season or events that month. For example, you may want to tackle traveling with pets in the months leading up to holidays. And it is also best to plan your year's topics so that you can cover a wide variety of subjects. So this topic plan does not need to be set in stone. It's a guide that can adapt. And sometimes the reason why you would want to adapt it is that sometimes you may want to join in a trending social media conversation with a relevant topic of your own. Thinking about things like maybe the upcoming Rugby World Cup and how it might impact pets. And you might want to have an article or a social media post about that. So once you've got your topic plan, each month you then write a blog article on your topic, which will go on your website. Your blog article should be around 300 to 500 words. So some of you might be aware that articles that take 7 minutes to read, which usually translates to about 2,000 words, get the most traffic. And the reason I am not suggesting this as a DIY for you to do is a time and quality issue. It is far better to post short, high quality content consistently than infrequent or poor quality posts. But that said, if you have time and you feel your writing skills are exceptional, then aim for at least 1,500 to 2,000 words. If not, then rather keep it short. Okay, so once you have your blog article, you use it to create another short article of around 150 words. And this will be your email newsletter article. So you can have more than one article in your email newsletter, but the key with email newsletter articles is to keep it short, no more than 200 words. Then from your blog article again, you use it to create 1 Google My Business post and 4 social media posts. And you should always remember, as I mentioned before, to include links back to your website in all your posts and email. Of course, this strategy is very easy to scale. So if you have more time available, you can tackle 2 topics per month and then similarly increase your Google My Business posts and your social media posts. It is important also though to keep in mind that posting and emailing too often can be just as deterring to clients as not doing it at all. We are aiming to be Goldilocks with regard to this. So we need to find that sweet spot. Okay. To make your 4 social media posts that I mentioned, you of course need to tailor them to suit the social media platform you have chosen. I will tell you that you need to choose at least 1 social media platform and not more than 3. The obvious choice may seem like Facebook, and you'd be right in thinking that, but I want you to also understand why so that you can make the best use of it. The social media platform you use depends on your industry, your resources, and your goals, and how this fits into the buying process. So if you have ever purchased anything, you will have gone through this thought process. This will be the same process when a client decides which vet clinic to use. The first stage is awareness. This is where you realize you have a need or a problem. And in the vet client's case, it may be as simple as the animal is sick or they have purchased a new puppy or kitten. That's it. That's all it takes. The potential client will then begin investigating options. They may simply stumble across your practice by driving past it, or they may be referred by a friend, or they may do a bit of Googling for practices near them. Whichever way they do it, your prospective clients are likely to make use of online information to aid their decision. And so they may go look at your website, they may look at social media pages, and they may even read some reviews. Based on what they find, the prospective clients will then mentally shortlist their favorites, which is the trust part of the buying process. And finally, they will make the purchase or visit your practice, and that is the action or the final step in the buying process. Here you can see how social media fits into the buying process. The first two platforms are Instagram and Twitter, and they are part of the awareness step. They are platforms mainly for entertainment before anything else, and they're great for gaining exposure with very general content. Instagram is a very visual platform. It works best for visual businesses that have beautiful products that can be styled and photographed well. So unless you have tons of beautiful images, I would say stay away from that one. Twitter can handle more complex content and is very good for increasing a fan base. Facebook and YouTube are where you can build brand loyalty and increase web traffic. The content on these platforms will be more in depth and will also reflect business ethics and interests. This is where you build trust. And then finally, Pinterest and LinkedIn are part of the action stage. They are good for selling and details about products and offerings. And Pinterest is good for businesses, in particular with products and a blog. And LinkedIn is best for business to business marketing and sales. So now, which are best for veterinary clinics? This is where you will need to consider your resources and goals. For example, if you're a referral practice and you want to build recognition among your peers, then you may consider LinkedIn. If you have lots of beautiful images, say you have beautiful facilities and you have boarding services and you have a budget for beautiful images, then you may want to choose Instagram. But most veterinary clinics, however, would simply want to build client relationships and maybe some awareness to a local population, and this can be achieved very effectively with Facebook. So Facebook is going to be the logical choice for most vets. Okay, and this is just to show you that Facebook is a good choice in South Africa. As you can see, Facebook and Pinterest have the highest usage, followed by Twitter. As I already mentioned, you should have at least one social media platform, but no more than 3. So I would say start with Facebook and get it working well. And then if you really feel you would like to venture into a second platform, I would suggest Twitter in most cases. With Twitter, you can make use of geolocation to build your brand, and it is also relatively easy to make tweets from the blog articles I discussed earlier. Another encouraging thing for those of you in smaller city districts is that it's quite interesting to note that according to a recent report by Arthur Goldstack, there has been dramatic growth of social media in the smaller centres such as Port Elizabeth, Bloemfontein, East London and Nelspruit. So to make full use of Facebook, here are some tips. Firstly, make sure your Facebook page is optimized. This is exactly the same as for your website. You want to have a visually appealing page that reflects well on your practice. So this means making sure that all your content is correct and up to date, and that your banner and profile images are beautiful. When it comes to posting, ideally you would want longer articles, as I mentioned, but if that's not possible, remember consistency is key. Shorter, high quality, consistent posts are still better than subpar, erratic posts that are longer. Use lots and lots of images and post at least once a week. Ideally on Facebook, you should be posting 2 to 3 times a week. But if that's not possible, at least once a week. The best time to post has been shown to be weekdays between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. But beware, this is not necessarily the same for everyone. It may look different for you. So double check your viewing stats on your business page. And if you are unsure how to do that, you're more than welcome to schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and I will show you how to do it as a complimentary service as part of the summit. If you use Facebook ads, then the best length for title is 4 words and 15 words for the link description. And again, remember to have links in your posts to your website, and also to have Facebook links from your website. So finally, let's get to the fun bit of creating your content. So if that doesn't sound fun at all to you, then bear with me. I will try and simplify the process for you and hopefully make it something that you can tackle quickly. And if you still don't relish the thought, then at Vet Vibe, we think content creation is the best thing ever, so consider getting us on your team. Anyhow, here we go. The three main content categories are images, videos, and articles or blogs. The big question always is whether to curate the content, which is of course finding other people's content on the web that they've created, or then to create your own. So obviously each has advantages and disadvantages, and you may think curating content may seem like the quickest way to do it, but be warned, you can easily get sucked into the black hole of the internet and emerge 3 hours later and still have made no progress. Curated content is great to fill in gaps when you're out of ideas for posting, but curated content has to be shared with copyright in mind. So it is fine to share on Facebook from another page or directly from a website because the original poster will get credit, but it is not okay to ever download images, whether it be from Facebook or elsewhere, images or video, and then to post it on your page yourself, unless, of course, you give credit to the original poster. Curated content can give you a wide variety of content, but and this is important, it certainly won't give your page a personalized feel. And this is what you need to remember, is that prospective clients and existing clients want to get to know you, and they want to know your values. So limit the amount of curated content. Creator content, on the other hand, is a big plus because it's yours and it gets higher preference when shared by you. The downside is that it can be really time consuming and costly to make depending on how complex you want to be, but I do recommend created content for vets, as it will give your page a personal feel, and then of course it will build trust with your followers. Within each of your content categories of video, images and articles, you then have different content types that serve different purposes. And you can use these types that I've listed here to give you inspiration for your own content. So for entertainment, you could consider a funny video or a cartoon or maybe a joke about one of your employees. You can think about puzzles and memes or contests. Those are all entertaining and people love to take part in them. For inspiration, you can think of things like quotes or motivating statements, or even discuss a positive case story. People are always keen for a good feel-good story. Education, of course, is probably the easiest one for us vets to come up with ideas for. We've always got a lot that we feel we need to tell our clients. But the thing here is that you can vary the format you use. So consider things like a listicle, which is those typical articles that will say 5 reasons to vaccinate your pet, for example. Or you can maybe have an infographic with lots of images depicting nutrition in dogs. You can really get creative with how you present facts. You can even do it through something like a quiz, or you could do tips and tricks or live video demonstrations if you have the time and resources. Conversation type posts are those that ask questions, such as in a poll, or call for your followers to make a comment. You can, for example, maybe post a picture of your practice cat sitting in a box and ask followers to share their best cat box photos. And this is really just about engaging with your clients and getting a conversation going. Then we have connection type posts, and these are those that usually try to connect with your audience on an emotional level by sharing things such as maybe behind the scenes or featuring that feel-good case I mentioned earlier, or honoring an employee in some way, maybe employee of the month or it's their birthday. Think about how you can highlight the people you encountered during your day. And then finally, you have promotion type posts. And there's a very good reason I have left this for last. You must remember that social media is first social before anything else. And you would use Facebook to engage in a meaningful, continual dialogue with your clients. You will use it to build relationships from which sales and services will come at the appropriate time. When you post, you use a jab, jab, punch approach. So a jab is an entertaining or social type post, and the first 5 I've listed here are all jabs. And then last one, promotion, is a punch. Make sure you always have at least 2 jabs for every punch so that your followers don't feel they need to leave your page from being oversold to. So if you are going to curate content, then here are some places you can find good content easily. For images and videos on Facebook, have a look at Lad Bible or 5-Minute Crafts or the Dodo. They're quite easy to use, and a lot of their videos are in fact labeled very clearly, so you can go ahead and find something that's relevant to you. For articles and blog posts, have a look at content feeds so that you don't have to search the entire internet yourself, which can take hours of time. There are many options here, such as Feedly, Mashable, BuzzFeed, Content Gems, and Medium. And there are probably hundreds more, so keep looking, you might find something that works better for you. Some of these news feeds will require signing up, but all have free usage options. So I would really recommend try a few of them and find which one you like and which works for you. Okay, if you are going to make your own content, then it is very worthwhile to know about a few tools that you can use. For all the things I've listed here, they are both free and paid options. And if you're going to make your own content, then you may consider paying for some of these tools just to make your life easier. Of course, you always need to then weigh up your time cost and the cost of the tool versus simply just paying to have the content made for you. To create images and stories, Canva and Adobe Spark are probably the most user-friendly 2 options. They are free to use, and then there are in-app purchases. And both have many templates you can use and will guide you on how to put your images or your social media ad together. GIMP and Photo are both very powerful tools for image editing, but they may be more time consuming to learn to use well. Okay, so all of those options are free. Creating video is a bit more limited in terms of free usage. You can use Clipchamp, WeVideo, Biteable, and Animaker, to name a few of the popular ones. But they all have usage limitations, such as they will limit you on the number of templates you can access, or how many videos you can export, or the video quality you can export, and so forth. There are also paid video creation options such as Adobe Premiere or Headfilm Express, but again, these are going to be really time consuming to learn if you just quickly want to make a short video and get on with it. If I can recommend 2 really simple and easy to get going tools, then those are the 2 I've highlighted there. It's Canva and Adobe Spark. Start with those. Then in terms of writing blog posts, I have included a few content framework ideas here. So you can think about how-tos or aggregation posts, which are best of posts. Listicles, I mentioned an idea earlier with five reasons to vaccinate your pet. You might want to write a product use case or an interview. And I would really consider getting someone to proofread your work or use an editing program such as Grammarly that will check your style, grammar, and spelling. Right. And then images. Obviously, you always want to have a lot of images and beautiful images. and it's good to know where you can find some. Whenever you use an image, be it for a post or a blog article, you need to know what the usage rights are. If it has a Creative Commons license, then you don't need to give attribution. So sites where you can find photos and images like this are Pixabay, Pixels, and Unsplash. They are all free and no credit is required. Just remember, it is always good if you can give some love where credit is due, because many of these photos are donated by artists who want to gain exposure. There are some really great images on these sites, and you'll probably find them completely sufficient to your purposes. But for times when you're looking for something specific, then you can take a look at paid stock photo sites such as Adobe Stock or Shutterstock. Both have a huge collection. Right. So if all of that is sounding a bit overwhelming, then I have one final suggestion, and that would be Vet Vibe. So at Vet Vibe, we're a forward-thinking, vibey, vet-focused media company. We are brand new and we want to grow with you and for you, and we want to serve the veterinary community. So we specialize in creating digital content for vets and marketing strategy for vets. And we understand that you work in a complex and a demanding industry. We also understand the digital marketplace, and we know how to bring those together and how to make it work the best for you. So I believe that the animal health consumer in South Africa should have access to informative and accurate animal health information, and that this should be provided by South African vets. And this is what Vet Vibe aims to do. We want vets to be able to build loyal client bases and good client relationships with the information that they provide. We will work with you to create a custom marketing plan and also create content and campaigns for your customers. Some of the benefits of using Vet Vibe is that you'll increase your visibility. Digital market is a very economical marketing approach. You'll nurture customer loyalty, you'll increase your credibility, and then you'll strengthen your client relationships by also keeping your clients informed. So just to run over some of Vet Vibe's services, we aim to provide the whole package that you can do anything from maintaining your website to Google My Business optimization, to search engine optimization, to Google Ads or email newsletters. We cover all those bases. I just included an image there to show you how web marketing works. So you have your two main fields, which is your search engine and your social media, and marketing for each one. And then for each one, you have optimization and you have advertising. So for your search engine on Google, you will want to optimize your website, and then you will use advertising to promote it. And the same for social media, you want to optimize your pages and optimize your Google My Business page, and then you will use ads to promote your page. And then finally, as part of this summit, we have a special trial offer where we've taken all the work of finding images and writing articles and creating posts. We've done all of that. We call it our social media content mix because we have a bit of everything, and it's like baking using a cake, using a packet mix to bake a cake. You just add eggs and milk. So weekly, we will give articles, some fun educational posts, graphics with suggested captions, text posts, post ideas, and then curated posts for you to share. And then you can decide from all of that which ones suit your personality and your practice the best, and those are the ones you can use. We have found that it is best for the vet or practice manager, whoever's running the Facebook page, to be in control, as that gives the most personalized feel and tends to connect you the best with your client base and your patients. And this is the ideal way of doing that. So if you are interested, then you can click to access the trial offer. And then as part of that, I will also go through with you on Facebook and look what your potential reach is for customers on your Facebook page through Facebook marketing. Then I'm leaving you with one final challenge to wrap up, and the challenge is to then sit down, choose 12 topics. You can think of 12 easy topics, and write your article of each month, and from that make your email article and your 4 Facebook pages, Facebook posts, and your Google My Business page post. And yeah, I hope that has inspired you to get started.